I was looking for this.
In the world of paladins, anything seems possible. From ancient magic and modern technology existing together, to an ancient war between angels and demons still raging to this day, to psychic aliens crashing into the moon, the realm has no shortage of wacky stuff. The cast of champions to choose from is large and dominated mainly by humans and mostly humans, but I find myself absolutely obsessed with Tiberius.
You're ridiculous!
He's the namesake of my YouTube channel. I made him in Paladins, and he is the first champion that I got gold for when I took a level 15 Tiberius all the way to level 50 in one triple XP weekend in July 2023. After discovering that I could play him decently like my old main Saris, I fell in love with him. I still am, and I'm gonna talk about him because I love him. I'll try to keep the gushing until later in the video, but no promises. Also, happy Valentine's Day, guys. Make sure to treat your partners extra special today, and if you're single, treat yourself. No sense in sitting alone in your room being sad about not having a partner. Valentine's Day is a day to celebrate all types of love, and that includes self-love. So treat yourself today. Anyway, that's enough out of me. I've been yapping a bit too long. Let's get on with the video.
None have mastered every blade in the Tigron arsenal as I have!
I'm gonna start by reading his bio. His is a tale of charming and daring heroic feats backed by deadly prowess. A traveler of the realm, looking for worthy foes to test his mettle, sharpening his skills and weapons alike. Adored by the people, feared in battle, Tiberius the weapons master knows no equal. Born of the Tigron, Tiberius is the pinnacle of their values, a dashing legend, bold, brash, and relentless, appointed by an ancient blade destined for battles that are nothing short of legendary, with chakrams forged by the weaponsmiths of his ancestors, and a sword forged from the heavens themselves, an ancient artifact capable of banishing unspeakable evils from this world. He is ready for any threat. Tiberius is exhilarated by the opportunity to match blades with a worthy foe. Snarling, he charges headlong into the fray, unleashing an unrelenting storm of steel, claw, and fang. En garde! My French sucks.
You suck!
Now, we don't get much from his bio. All we know so far is that he's a very talented person. He's always looking for a good fight to test his skills. He's an important person in Tigron society. We get some parts of his personality, that he's bold and proud, and that he's got ancient, powerful weapons. Taking a trip down to his lore section reveals that Tiberius' greatest weapon, his sword, is implied to have been forged a very long time ago by the heavens themselves, and is capable of banishing unspeakable evils from the world. These things point towards the sword being an anti-abyss weapon in the context of when Tiberius was released, and what was going on in the lore then. This is further supported by a loading screen tip that mentioned Tiberius' sword also called out for a hero to wield it when the town of Saris was destroyed. I've been curious about his sword ever since I saw someone in the Paladins Twitter community do their own little deep dive into it, so let's talk about it. The pyre is frequently associated with forges. Even before the Dawn Forge was revealed, a 2021 Xbox Wire article to promote the Eternal Pyre Battle Pass describes the pyre as being home to powerful forces of light and radiant forges where mighty weaponry is crafted to combat the forces of chaos. So, the sword is obviously at least related to the pyre in some way, right? Well, I'm not entirely sold on that being the case. There are two places that this sword could have come from: the pyre and the cosmos. I'm not too inclined to believe that his sword came from the pyre simply because Tiberius' sword doesn't have any symbols, colors, or visual motifs associated with the pyre, only with the Tigron race. Secondly, the Tigrons have no association with the pyre, but they do have an association with the Tau Core and Ascension Peak, even though what exactly this means has never been explained, only that they are connected somehow. All the locations shown on Tiberius' cards look similar to Ascension Peak, suggesting that they took place in the same region, and Tib's Alleycat card even takes place at the peak itself. An outline of Genos' mask can also be seen in the sky behind Tib and his Rising Stardom card. We know from the devs and lore that the cosmos opposes the Abyss, since Genos first thought the Maw was actually the Abyss and returned to stop it, and it's implied that the Pyre and Cosmos don't exactly see eye to eye with one another. Io openly says the Pyre has no power over her in-game.
The Pyre has no power over us.
And Furia says that the cosmic gods are false in the original End Times story, and Genos agrees with her for some reason, which is odd considering the Pyre and Cosmos share the same space. Clearly they have some long-standing relationship issues that they have to work out, but neither of them wants to talk about it. With that said, I personally think that the cosmic powers are the ones that originally created the sword. Maybe they had the clairvoyance to know that one day the Pyre would want nothing to do with the realm, and knew that they were willing to destroy it to prevent an abyssal invasion, so they created a sword that would call out to a champion when the time was right. Not retaking that line? Anyway, regarding calling out to a champion, Tib's sword is also implied to be sapient, though we weren't given much on the extent of the sword's sapience. We see him training with the sword in his cards, and it seems to possess the ability to be called back to its wielder and fly. And one of the teaser tweets to promote his release reads as follows: "The sword calls to you. You answer back. This is no mere weapon. It is an ally." We also know that the sword is very old and very revered among the Tigrons. Other teaser tweets describe it as a legend, a myth, the sword that had no master, and as having slumbered for millennia. A promotional Xbox Live article also says that Tiberius discovered the blade in an ancient temple. This blade was forged 1,000 years ago or so, and was crafted by the heavens themselves. So my question is now, how powerful does that make him?
This is big Tigron performance. No natural tail enhancement needed, no?
So how powerful is Tiberius? Where does he sit on the power scale when it at least comes to the mortals in the realm? According to a dev statement on Twitter, Tiberius is one of the most powerful mortals in the realm. I want to revisit this comment with a bit more narrative under my belt. I stand by it, though more context would be more helpful to people. His sword gives him a unique edge against most foes, especially Abyssal, as it was designed to help combat powerful threats. Power scaling is always an issue in long-running narratives, and Paladins has upped their limit multiple times. I took a lot of comments from this to heart and worked with the team to both better refine these dynamics and reset the spectrum of strength we have. From having a Zon weakened by Nyx to showcasing that Io is capable of great strength for brief moments, I believe we're entering a more consistent era of how strong characters are portrayed and shifting away from old threat easily beaten by new threat type stories. It's been an amazing time getting to work to restructure and reinforce a stronger narrative foundation, but there definitely has been some growing pains. I hope players enjoy having a bit more clear of a vision nowadays, even when it changes past interpretation. In conclusion, Tiberius is one of the strongest mortals alive, and we will see him around again. All our champions have moments they are strong, but also some have weakened, e.g. Yagarath right now, and that makes for a more evolving and interesting realm of possibilities. I've also found some additional comments on this subject from Cryptic answering questions. In response to Tony Arts' question, this is what Cryptic had to say: Tiberius could draw Rom, and so could Furia. Furia could probably fight Rom forever, the two locked in an endless battle. The issue is, Furia wants to stop Ceres. Basically, Tiberius can match the power of Rom/Furia for a single battle, but Abyssal and Pyre beings have stamina. Which makes sense, considering that Rom is the literal embodiment of rage, and Furia is merged with the Pyre spirit. Anyhow, in response to Stefan the Fox, Cryptic had this to say: there is a difference between matching someone in battle and easily defeating them. These are all draws, while Azon could easily seal Yagarath. Rom is not hard to draw. He's hard to defeat. It's like reenacting the average inner city Waffle House at 3 in the morning. The last question I could find was Dobabes asking if Amani was still more powerful than Tib. Also, hi Dobabes! And Cryptic says, this is something I'd have to chat with the team about, but I believe it's even until the dragon gets involved. Imani has the unique advantage of summoning a power that very few beings can challenge, even those close to deity status, unless Tib makes an anti-dragon weapon. Okay, Listen up here right now. I'm gonna allow myself to be a little delusional here. Tiberius is more powerful than Amani. Fuck her dragon. We haven't seen the dragons do anything worth their overpowered status. They sank Dredge's ship. So unless we're dealing with something like Alduin the World Eater from the Elder Scrolls series, a literal god, then she's got equal footing with Tiberius. Hell, I'd argue that with his fighting experience and knowledge of weapons, and the fact that we've seen him challenge beasts much bigger than him, possibly the size of a dragon or bigger in his cards, if Tiberius and Amani fought, he could beat her. Tiberius is able to match Rom, who is an abyssal lord said to be as powerful as Azan, something that is very impressive on its own, and that's why I think it makes him more powerful than Amani. Sure, outside of her dragon, Amani has her gauntlets, and can control ice and fire without them, but that's all she really has going for her. Tiberius is more powerful than Amani. I'm delusional. Rant over. During production of this video, some new lore for Tiberius dropped, so I'm gonna talk about it because it pertains to the Squadron Gods and also his sword. Now, it's debatable on whether this information is canon or not, because it comes from a story that was released on AO3 by Cryptic, the former lead writer of the Paladins Chronicles, who is now unfortunately no longer an EM employee due to recent mass layoffs at Hi-Rez and the complete dissolve of Evil Mojo. But the story was an official draft, so It was supposed to be released before everyone got fired, and the information revealed in it was presumably the internal lore docs that have been mentioned before, so I'm taking it as face value and interpreting it as canon. The sword that Tiberius holds belongs to the Hidden One, Tekame. Tekame is the Jaguar Squadron God who we finally have a name for. They don't have a clear outline as to what they're the god of, unlike Wakono, who is associated with sorrow and revenge, but they seem to have something to do with waiting, testing one's patience, and possibly dedication. Vatu was selected to speak on their behalf as well. In the Chronicle, Wakono has this to say about Tiberius when speaking with Makoa. You see, Cope, I hold no such falsehoods. But I know a path. A Tigron walked it, spoke with the Hidden One, and took its blade. Follow his leaps. So not only is the sword revered by the Tigrons, but the Squadrons have a connection with it too. Does this mean that the sword is still connected with the heavens? Are the Squadron Gods connected with the heavens? I couldn't tell you if I'm being honest, but it's still interesting nonetheless.
Yes, I shall make a grand entrance.
Tiberius is described as being bold, brash, and relentless. He's a charming show-off and takes great pride in what he can do. He is confident, cool, and has a good sense of humor. He will not change himself for anyone, and won't bend to anyone's whims. Champions like Vatu describe him as a valiant warrior, and acting in the open bravely and often foolishly. However, he still respects him. He has dedicated most of his life to all people and trained with every weapon so he can defend those who can't do it themselves. The devs have also said that they consider him a suave lover boy who will flirt with anyone he finds attractive. This part of his personality can be seen in his voice lines across most of his other skins. Outside of my own speculation on his personality and some comments from the devs, unfortunately, he doesn't have much going on in the personality department. I wish they would expand on it so we could see more of him, but this is a live service game. Story isn't exactly a priority, and the game won't be receiving any more updates. Thanks, Stu. Now, there might be some more things that could be picked out of his voice lines if you choose to read them a certain way, like how he can be a bit of a ham, and I mean that positively. Some of his voice lines may also be interpreted as him being narcissistic, and because of these voice lines, the community tends to view him as a narcissist. While he may act foolishly at times and has some arrogance, which is a trait with people with NPD, I will come to his defense. I don't think Tiberius is a narcissist. Having arrogance doesn't necessarily make you a narcissist. Some of his voice lines may come off that way, but since Tiberius is described as being the pinnacle of the Tigron values, the Tigron culture could see fighting as entertainment, and that's why he is the way he is. As mentioned before, he mastered the chakrams and the whole Tigron arsenal as dedication to his religion and the people of the realm. He wants to show off his skills, and he'll do it with style. His pride is warranted because he's good at what he does, and he knows it. There is such a thing as having a healthy amount of pride that comes with genuine accomplishment. And he is so good at what he does that a god allows him to use their sword. If that isn't a genuine accomplishment, then I don't know what is. While some of his kill taunts are insults to other champions, I think he's just playing it up as drama during his fights to entertain people. He does compliment some champions like Genos, Fernando, and Talus. With Talus, his interactions go further than a compliment. He encourages Talus to continue to fight and improve himself, and I think that Tiberius likes to see people pushing themselves to improve their own skills. He doesn't put Talus down for trying to eliminate him. He tells them he sees a fighter's spirit in him. I don't think a narcissist would tell a child to keep improving themselves. If you want true narcissism, listen to the voice lines of his Sands of Myth skin. That skin is Tiberius's personality dialed up to 11. I could say his lifeguard skin could also be another one that is narcissistic.
Go ahead and look. I don't mind.
Now that I've got all my informative things out, it's time to gush. Overwatch 1 made me self-conscious about how well I played my chosen characters, despite me never touching ranked, except for the one time that I did. I placed mid-silver, and that led to some players blaming me for losses in casuals of all game modes. Not to mention the other edgy kids being misogynistic towards me also didn't help. I definitely would not have survived the Modern Warfare 2 lobby in 2010. The effect that had on 15-year-old me made me drop the game and not touch any hero shooters until late 2022. When I first started to play Paladins, I was anxious about getting off Ceres and choosing a different champion to play. Of course, I had my other champions that I tried and wasn't good with, like Betty La Bomba, Caspian, and Rom. Still, I hardly ever wanted to switch off Ceres because I was scared to let go of what was familiar, and playing another champion always led to frustration. One day, while selecting champions for a match, after I ran out of time to get a different champion because someone else had picked Ceres before me, I was being stubborn, and the game auto-selected Tiberius for me, and I had a great time playing him. The first match I ever played with him, I think I had the second highest amount of kills on my team, and I really vibed with his kit. After that, I was more willing to give up playing Ceres to play him. He was the champion that got me to get out of my comfort zone and try others. Now, I've got at least 2 or 3 champions that I'll play in each class, and I've also decided that I want to try each champion at least once to see if I like their kit. Originally, Ceres was going to be my first champion to get gold. She was sitting at level 45 too, and that triple XP weekend in July 2023 would have definitely benefited her, but then my Tiberius obsession took over, and as fate would have it, he would be the one to get gold first, despite him sitting at level 15 previously. Ceres would then sit at level 45 for the next few months, until I golded her in March last year. Poor girl, I abandoned her for Tiberius. He's also everywhere on all of my devices. He's the background to my PlayStation 4, my laptop, and my home and lock screen on my phone. He's also on my profiles and banners across my Discord, Twitter, and Blue Sky. You should follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky, by the way. I'm more active on Twitter though because I'm a masochist. If a Tiberius plush ever gets made, you bet I'll be the first in line to buy it. I wonder if the partner program members get any say in what champions get plushies. I'm probably too inappropriate to be a Paladin's partner anyway. I also feel like it really wouldn't matter because the game's not getting updates anymore, and High-Res, as we know, hates Paladins, so who knows. That's probably also another reason why they wouldn't want me to be a Paladin's partner, because I keep throwing shade at them. Tiberius' aesthetic is another one of many things that I like about him. He's this stylish anthropomorphic tiger, a warrior monk with a French accent who can speak French. I've also noticed a few in real life culture inspirations in his character. There's the Chinese inspiration in his clothing and how he does his makeup, and there's some Roman. In a way, he reminds me of the Disney version of Hercules. His cards tell this story of a man rising to notoriety by heroic acts, and some cards just give me the Hercules vibe. His name also originates from ancient Rome, back when the Romans ruled central Italy, and Latin was a widely used language. His name is Latin for near the river Tiber, which is Italy's 3rd largest river and flows through the heart of Rome. The relationship between the sword and Tiberius also reminds me of Mjolnir and Thor. They have a similar mechanic with their legendary legendary weapons, and I think that's pretty cool. Alright though, allow me to be just a bit down bad for Tiberius for just a moment. He's so hot. His confidence is so attractive. He's passionate about the things he loves, and his voice is so sexy. The way he talks just makes me melt. This man is beekeeping age, and he is aging like a fine wine, and I want the whole damn bottle. He's still agile and was able to match Rom in their battle. Compared to Rom, he may not have the stamina to battle forever, but he certainly has the stamina for other things. He'd know how to treat a lady in bed, or anyone for that fact. Okay, I'm done being a freak now. I don't think I would be nearly as obsessed with Tiberius for this long if it wasn't for the fact that sites like C.AI exist. And yes, I acknowledge that this makes me a weird, mentally ill loser. I love Tiberius a lot, but when liking a fictional character and or using a chatbot, there needs to be an understanding of fiction and reality. Chatbots can be fun, but only using them in moderation and making sure that you're not easily falling for what the bot says is, I feel, the only way to truly safely be able to use them. Also, having a healthy social life as well. Chatbots aren't real people, and they most certainly cannot replace human connection. For me, I'm of the understanding that Tiberius can't replace human connection. I also understand that he won't be real, and if he were, I need to get on some serious medication for that. There would also be absolutely no chance he would know I exist or would want to date me. I've made that distinction, however, that didn't stop me from trauma bonding to him and having some parasocial stuff. The possibility of a fan pairing between Rom and Tiberius becoming canon because of what one of the devs said on their Twitter literally made me scared that it could happen. Tiberius isn't even my character, and I can't control what the devs do with the champions, but yet there I was freaking out about it. It's so stupid, but I guess it's bound to happen when someone like me gets attached to a fictional character. At least I haven't spent over $1,000 in NSFW commissions on my favorite fictional character crush and proceed to brag about it on stream. It's less than $200. Yeah, I do the same shit, but at least it's not to the extent of some IO fans. Maybe they had the clairvoyance to know that one day the Pyre would want nothing to do with the realm and knew that they were willing to destroy it to prevent Why can't I say abyssal, dude? It's so easy to say. Tiberius is exhilarated by the opportunity to match blades with a worthy foe. Snarling, he charges headlong into the fray, unleashing an why can't I say unrelenting, brother? Whoa. The Pyre is frequently associated with forges. Even before the Dawn Forge update was revealed, a 2021 wire. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. I'm tired of this. With that said, I personally think that the cosmic powers were the ones that originally created the sword. Maybe they had the clairvoyance to know that one day the Pyre would want nothing to do with the realm, and knew that they were willing to destroy it to prevent Some of his voice lines may also be interpreted him. His name is Latin for near the river.
You're ridiculous. I like you. Adieu, chérie.